Hello, welcome to another show. I'm Jim Dolan and I'm pretty furious and I'm joined by Mr. Robert Bish. Robert Bish, we've just watched the Fulham game. How are you feeling, mate?
This drove me to drink, and I haven't been drinking for weeks, so I'm not happy at all.
And Archie's not happy either. Look, his tail's gone all bent and
As
it's
long as he
showing you his
doesn't,
butthole.
long as he doesn't poo the camera, I'm happy.
Anyone listening to the podcast, my cat has decided to join us. So sorry you're missing out on the visuals. Yep, he's co-hosting by writhing around on my lap. So listen, look, we decided this week to do something a bit different. And we thought we'll record a podcast or video straight after the game. And we thought, yeah, because everything will be fresh in our minds and we'll have plenty to talk about. And that game that just happened, I say just happened is too strong a word. Nothing happened except for one bloody thing at the end. But all the way through, we were texting each other and going, what are we going to talk about? This game's just going nowhere. And it didn't really, apart from one big decision at the end. But look, we'll come to the red card very shortly. What happened, Rob? What happened with that game?
I think what happened is I think we're maybe a bit tired because of schedule, and I think it might cooperate us. I think when he decided to change it, he looked at the bench and thought, I'm going to bring Noble on because there's no one else to bring, and I think it just didn't do anything, if I'm honest. I think Antonio's injured as well. I think you could tell he's injured.
Yeah, well, you and I texted at the same time, didn't we? Saying, because you said, like, I think he's pulled his hamstring, and I just said, is it just me or is Antonio stopped sprinting?
Yeah, and we put Yarmi up front, and he just didn't do anything. He didn't make any runs. Not like he had much to go with, though. At the same time,
no. I mean, I was hopeful that. I mean, I do think he's injured, but I'm hopeful that maybe what they said to Antonio is that we're going to put you on because we've got the cup game coming up, but we're also fifth in the league, right? So we've got something to fight for. We'll put you on the moment you feel uncomfortable, the moment you're ready for a rest. Let us know. That's what I'm hoping.
No, I don't think. I think they're so relying on him. I don't think they would have done that. I think that's just. I think we're just hoping that's happened, in certain circumstances. It's a bit strange that we didn't have the young boy on the bench, though, wasn't it?
I'm really surprised that we started with Antonio at all. Because sorry, this cat's really distracting. I thought with the cup game coming up and the fact that Lingard obviously can't play against his parent club, I thought, well, we'll probably start him in like a false nine.
I thought Lingard was poor tonight, but I think everyone was poor. But I don't understand why we didn't take him off and bring Fernells on.
I mean, that's a change that I potentially would have made.
Yeah. But is he allergic to Rainsy Gremlin or something?
Well, you've got to think he hasn't played properly for how long? Like when was his last start for Man U? I was going to say United. Then I hate it when people say United because they're not the only fucking United. So I'm swearing already. I'm so wound up about this game. But I thought that we would start him in like a false nine, and I thought we would have like maybe Fornals, Bowen, and Benrahma supporting him. When I saw that Antonio was starting, I was really surprised because I thought you would want 100% of Antonio ready for that game.
But it just proves that he wanted to win, though, doesn't it? Though, if you put him on, if you risked him,
it does, and I get it. I get it. You're balancing two. You're fifth at the league. You're West Ham. FA Cup.
We got home Man United win now, don't we, as well against Everton afterwards. But also, I think we forget we're talking. There is another talking point as well, which I totally just bloody forgot about, and it's a foul hitting the post.
Oh God, yeah. When he said Soufal, my head automatically turned that into Souček because I don't know why, because the names are so similar.
I'm surprised I pronounced it right.
But then they did the replay, and I was like, wait, no, what? No, that was class.
I thought the way you got in front of him as well, I thought he was going to score. But if I'm honest, I think the lack of depth today is something we've raged on about. I think if anyone watched back against the old videos, we've talked about how the depth might come back to bite us in the arse. And I think tonight, it did come back to bite us in the arse a bit.
Well, could you name an alternative 11?
No, not really. Not if it was including youngsters, we couldn't. I think we could play. I say Fredrickson right back. I think we could play Johnson left back, and then put Diop and Bobana in defence. But then that's where it gets difficult because then
Central midfield.
Yeah,
Who have
exactly.
you got?
Noble.
Well, Noble and Lanzini.
Yeah, and that is not a very good side for me.
There's no pace in that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think they both, Noble's a great sprayer of the ball. He picks out a pass. Lanzini, I think, still got very clever feet, but there's no pace in that pairing at all. And then who are you going to put on the wings that didn't start tonight? You've got Fornals.
Yeah, Yarmolenko. Yeah, and he definitely hasn't got any pace. I think his injuries have got to him a little bit. He's great on the ball. I think he's probably got one of the best first touches in the whole of our team. I think Yarmolenko, but I think he just doesn't have anything else. I don't think he hasn't got the pace. And also, what is he now? Is he 31 now?
Yeah, he's definitely early 30s, isn't he? Yeah. And so taking all that into account, I guess it's fair that Moyes does have a really difficult tightrope act to walk, because would the fans accept us playing that alternative 11 that we just discussed then? Would they accept us playing them players tonight and saving everything for the cup game?
If he does that, we'd all be pissed off and we'd be all texting each other, being angry. But if we won, it'd be a masterclass, wouldn't it? But the problem is that I just don't think I think they've kind of shot themselves in the foot a bit by not getting even a lone striker on board in the last window. It's almost kind of like a little bit like, like I said, I think we're an injury or two away from being like just real in trouble. Like,
do you know what? We've been saying that all season, Rob. We've been saying that all season.
Yeah,
and it's not happened yet.
But when does your luck run out?
Yeah.
And I think
we're riding our luck seriously. We're riding by the edge of our pants here, because it's just going to take one. And maybe tonight, you think that Antonio is, and to be honest, I think he is as well. If he is, what's our options now? I mean, Allaire was never any good anyway, but
no. Even if Antonio's injury, it's just the lightest of ones. He still could be out for 4 weeks of the lightest thing. When I did my hamstring, I've done both injuries that he's had, and both mine, and one of them I was out for 10 weeks, and this is actually I had to go to physio. One of them, like my lightest one I had, I was out for 6 weeks.
I mean, to be fair, they're going to have all of the medical science that money can buy.
They can freeze him now to Tuesday.
They can. They've got those hang on, I'm not going to say the wrong thing. Something chamber.
The deep
freeze things.
I think West Ham have got the cold ring they had in Centre Park to just jump into. It's really cold.
Just got a plunge pool.
And like David Moyes just shout, "Stay in there for an hour."
I mean, so yeah, it was, the whole game was underwhelming, wasn't it? Let's be honest. And I can't blame anyone really, because Moyes, like we say, he's trying to walk that tightrope. The players are probably knackered because the games have been coming quite thick and fast recently.
I guarantee you, Tuesday's going to be even faster. And Man United are going to be up for it. And if we play like how we played tonight, we get battered. We need to be winning all them second balls. We need to be, putting the tackles in. We done something tonight as well, which I don't really like. We kept trying to get free kicks by going down. Did you notice that? I watched the game for a bit.
Did we, or were the players just so tired that they were generally generally are running a little bit behind pace and a bit tired and getting caught? I don't know.
Yeah, I think they may be tired. This is where we, if we had another striker, you'd be starting tonight, and he would rest Antonio, and now we've risked him. It just bothers me a bit. It does. It's almost stupid. Do you know what I mean? Not to got one in, and not even to have the young boy who they really rate, not even on the bench. He played last night. The was it under 23s or the under 21s? I can't remember. Got beat 6-1 or something. I can't remember what it is. And you could have played. I don't think they rate him as highly as everyone keeps saying they do.
Well, everyone rated Tony Martinez, didn't they? And he never.
The Porto player now plays for Porto.
Yeah, well, now since he's left West Ham. Yeah. What do you think it is about Fulham? Do you reckon they've just got lucky that the 2 games? I say they've got lucky. I mean, we beat them the first game, but they were all over us really. And I think it was very unfair well, I mean, you make your own luck, but it didn't feel fair that we'd beat them because in the first game, because that penalty that lad fucked up, was one thing, but we weren't exactly on top of that game either. Is it just like fortune of timing for them playing us, or
I think Scott Parker got it right tonight. I think he looked at us and looked how we can play and look at the players we've got, and we've been played on against Villa, and I think this is what we're going to do, and I think it worked perfectly. I think he basically used the space between the defenders and midfielders and used that gap. And he pushed, Ruben Loftus-Cheek a little bit forward. He's a strong lad as well. Everyone's been slating him this season. I thought he was superb tonight. We couldn't handle him. And Lookman, and I think we used them kind of gaps between the defence and midfield, and perfectly. We didn't tighten up. But the only thing we did do well is that we defended well as well, and we got back.
Really well.
So, really well. And an old West Ham would have capitulated. We would have let it go in. And we didn't. But we looked. I wouldn't have took Bowen off either. I know he wasn't the best game, but I'd have put Bowen up front as well.
I'm baffled as to why we haven't done that yet.
He was a striker for Fulham. He used to do it all the time. The thing was good about Bowen is he can run off the back of the man, right? And tonight we kept trying to play the ball over the defence so someone can run off the back of the man. Antonio Mazzini can do it. Just let Bowen do it then. You'd make him feel tired, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
So sometimes I don't really. Obviously, we're not the manager and we're not there and we don't see him in training, so we don't know what's happening all the time. But sometimes I don't get his decisions and it doesn't make sense for me. Like, I don't get Noble coming on. Do you get that? Can you explain Noble coming on for me?
No.
Because
not for Ben Rama. I thought actually Ben Rama is a player who can actually make things happen. I think he's playing a lot better recently. I can't understand why he came off.
I honestly, like, don't be wrong. He hasn't played a lot of Noble because of the team doing so well. But he didn't do anything, and he gave the ball away a few times, and he I've talked about Noble before and how much it irritates me that he slows the game down when he comes on. And I've said it to you before. I said it last season, didn't I? I think I've said it the season before. And as soon as he come on, I wanted to say instantly, I would say, watch the game slow down even more than it has for us. And I was kind of right. It did. It just got really so. And I was looking at the body language of all the players, but random. And they were just like jogging and they had their heads down, apart from when the other team went on the attack, which I thought was quite strange.
Yeah, we managed to get back and defend in good numbers. And there was points where, they'd have two guys in the box, and next thing you know, they're surrounded by four guys, right?
Yeah.
By four West Ham players.
Yeah.
And but they get back really quickly, but it's almost as if they burn all their energy getting back, and then they couldn't break.
And then Fabianski got booked for time wasting. And it was still 20 minutes to go. And I was like, what's happening? Were you actually trying to play for the draw? I think we did actually play for the draw, which is a bit disappointing.
Well, I mean, after the first half, the possession stats, I'm surprised that it was only 61-39. I thought they would have had much more possession than that based on what I was watching. I don't know. But I think maybe Fulham have got lucky to play us when they did.
Yeah. I'm not going to be too upset because we have played so well, and so well. We played great against Villa. It's just every time we get this chance, have you noticed this, to go like above Liverpool, we keep messing it up. And I thought tonight, I thought to myself, in a strange way, I thought to myself, we're going to lose against Villa because I really like when Villa play. They're very high tempo. We were outstanding. I thought, this is brilliant. And I thought tonight, I felt a bit negative tonight as well. I don't know if it's because I've just been painting today and it just gave me the we kind of played how I expected us to play sometimes. It really just gave me. I thought myself, I was hoping that West Ham would surprise me tonight and just do the job, but we didn't. We didn't do any job. But I think it's a bit of Moyes' fault as well because he didn't change the formation. He just changed the players.
Yeah, I think it does seem like he only changes the formation when he's forced to.
Yeah.
Apart from against Villa, I guess, because the way he set up against Villa, doubling up on the fullbacks on the right to deal with Grealish, he did put some thought into changing that a bit. But generally, like we had five at the back for however long, and it was only after Masuaku had to go for surgery that we made a change, and then we kind of stuck with that as well.
Yeah.
But it's hard to criticise him because clearly he's got the dressing room behind him. He's got a great coaching team, and he is over delivering massively.
I wouldn't. I haven't seen the after match interview with him. I can't imagine being happy with it that game today. Do you?
No, but then if it is down to the energy levels of the players because of the demands upon them, what can he say really?
Well, as a thing, you can't say anything, can you? You know, it's funny, like because you know we all play sports. I don't think we've ever played at footballers level, but we all play sports. And there's some nights we just can't get going, isn't it? You can't get into that gear. You know, no matter, even if you go for a run, and you think to yourself, "Take oh, piss, fuck this off." You know, what I mean, I'd rather just be watching.
Take that as an example, right? If you're training for a marathon or a, I don't know, Tough Mudder or whatever, and you are running like constantly, you know, several times a week, you're out. You do get to that point where you reach a certain week in or month in or whatever it is, where you're just exhausted and you're like, I can't do it. I just can't do it tonight. I need to recharge my batteries. And maybe that's where they're at. I mean, I know they're professional athletes, but we had a late start to the season. We've had a congested Christmas period, and now the games are coming thick and fast again because we need to finish by May.
Yeah, and
we're in the FA Cup.
Yeah, exactly.
we're not used to.
And I feel like I'd be quite upset if we kind of. I'm not going to try and jinx it and say we're going to throw it away. We'll bloody keep going down the league or anything like that, or we'll go at the cup because I want us to do well. If we kind of don't, because we didn't sign any players and we kind of all our best chances we've had in years and years and years of getting to Europe and getting to the final are wasted because of that. And potentially we could lose players over it because, you know, I've always talked about how important it is to do well this season so we can keep hold of the likes of Rice and Suchek and stuff like that. I'd be quite upset about it, if I'm honest.
It does feel like a wasted opportunity already, and nothing's really gone wrong yet. But it already feels like the what if is such a huge what if. What if we don't build on this when all we needed was a striker, or you know?
And I think
everything else, as we just went through that 11, everything else. Remember, right? Yeah. Every position we managed to put someone in there, even if they weren't the best fit. But we didn't say who would play for Antonio because there is no one.
No, there isn't. And I think a lot of people would put Bo in there, if I'm honest, and they put Yarmolenko on the other side, or Fredericks. He actually looks all right against Fulham. He's done the job right. I wish he was more direct sometimes, though. But you know, I really hope that we haven't jinxed ourselves. And you know, I don't think it was. Honest to God, I don't think it was Sullivan's fault that we didn't bring a player in. I don't think Moyes wanted to bring a player in. I think he wanted to, but he couldn't get the player that he wanted. And he just didn't want to, like he says, he didn't want to bring any old fella off the street, I think.
I don't see that it's possible there was no one available.
Oh, no, I reckon you'd have got anyone. If you look at the Premier League and you look at like teams like Man United, Man City, or Leicester, there must be a striker in there somewhere that hasn't played for ages. You know what I mean?
Even look down to the Championship and just have a look at. I'm not even saying the best striker in the Championship. There must be a decent striker in the Championship who's worth taking a punt on.
Do you know what?
We did that before. We got Hugo, didn't we? So
someone actually said in the chat, didn't they? What about just bringing Long in from who was it? I can't remember who he plays for now. Shane Long in. You know,
from Southampton.
Yeah. You know, don't be wrong. He's not going to pull up any, trees or anything. But he's a fast player.
You can competent striker.
Yeah, he just does the job, And you should think to yourself, like, if you can get that kind of chap on loan in the last 10 minutes, give Antonio a rest, and you will just run. It's a job done, isn't it?
I was saying to Luke the other day that I think that what will potentially happen, because we don't have the financial clout to buy the best players, is what might happen is if we can finish this season in a really decent position, if we can keep this momentum up, you could imagine signing a decent, not world beating, but a decent striker who's out of contract from another team. So whoever's, whatever sort of top 6 team has got a striker that's out of contract at the end of the season, if we didn't have to pay a fee for them, but we'd have to pay the salary, I could imagine us doing that next season.
Like a Danny Ings.
A bit better than that.
I've heard we're linked with him. Danny Ings.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me.
Even X has been saying, I think he's a good player, actually, but he's a bit injury prone at the same time as well.
I could also see us re-signing Adrian, because he's not been training with the Liverpool.
You said that, didn't you?
Yeah. And Fabianski's out of contract. I think we do need a different. For reasons that we've discussed that I'm not going to go into on here, I think we need a different second
keeper.
I
agree. I agree as well. I think I'll be really disappointed if we do get into Europe. I really hope we get into Europe into next season, if that's through the cup or through the league. And obviously, a higher efficient league, the more money we get as well. And I'd be really disappointed if we don't strengthen our side. I'd like to see a lot of kind of players go as well. I'd like to see like Lanzini go, even though I love Lanzini, but I'd like to see him go. I'd like to see Yarmolenko go as well. I just think he's just older, and I think he might just want to go back home. I'd like to see us kind of get a new, really fast left winger in, and a proper striker, maybe even another central defender, and something like that. And
we're at the stage right now where we've got enough depth of age and experience in the squad that we should start thinking about replacing certain people, so that we don't get to the stage where we suddenly have to replace a lot of people.
Team, and I think we desperately need a midfielder. Desperately.
Yeah, I mean those two are amazing. Their engines are amazing, but you can't expect them to carry on at the pace.
Let's go back to the game actually. Let's look at the what's it called? The Yellow Bastards decision.
All right, so Rob and I call Mike Dean Yellow Bastard because if you've ever watched the movie Sin City, well, okay, Google, if you don't know what we're talking about, Google Sin City Yellow Bastard. It's not rude. And just look at him and then look at a picture of Mike Dean.
He really looks like him.
He is Yellow Bastard. I'm going to bleep this bit. So just for your benefit, Rob, Mike Dean is a it's a reprehensible human being. Like Jamie Redknapp was saying after the game, like you could see he was livid. Jamie Redknapp was absolutely livid. He was like, what is the point of this, right? This is a contact sport. The guy is clearly, and he said exactly the same thing I was saying on the chat, right? You watch it in real time.
Yeah.
Anything in slow motion can look dodgy, but in real time, there was no like that. There was no jerk. It was just, he literally moved his arm.
Yeah.
He goes clenched fist.
He goes up like that to put, like, kind of get out of the way and move.
It's like, yeah.
And the thing is though, like, what makes you laugh though is, Mitrovic's reaction is like he's been like hit in the face with a comet. He's like he's just like, I was expecting
Thor's hammer.
Yeah, Thor's hammer. I was expecting to look down. His head had actually imploded, and it was just like a little nub.
Like scanners,
like a little tiny head from Beetlejuice. You know what I mean? And he's like, he's ridiculous. Like, and to be fair to him, he gets up after making a mill of it. Because he done, and he says to the ref, this is, and they're talking about clenched fists.
His hand was open like that, and when he lifted it away, he closed his hand. He didn't ball a fist; he just closed his hand.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, if you watch it, because they showed it about 150 times, he actually hits himself in the face as well. So where he goes, and he actually hits him, he kind of goes forward and reacts, moves it away, and hits himself in the face.
Exactly. You can tell by the reaction that it's unintentional, because the moment he feels contact, he's like, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
Do you know? This is one of those things where it's just wrong, because I'm not furious because I'm a West Ham fan. I'm not furious because one of our players has got a card, and it made no difference to the result of the game, right? That's irrelevant. And it's not even about the fact he may be out for the next 3 games. It's the fact that it's just wrong. It's wrong on every level. Any football fan who watches that from any club will watch that and go, that is fucking nonsense. Every Fulham fan's going to be watching that and going, that's fucking nonsense.
If I was watching a game, say Spurs versus Chelsea, 2 teams I'm not particularly fond of, and it happened in that game, I'd be like, bullshit, that's not a fucking sending off. Do you know what I mean? I'd just be like, no way, that's a sending off. I'd probably have to say,
to be said for sportsmanship and sportsmanlike conduct and a sense of what is right and wrong and just. And that is just wrong.
No common sense as well. If he's going, I'm playing to the letter of the law. The thing is, though, you've got the final say. And like Jamie Redknapp said, he's made it the Mike Dean show again.
No, it was Bobby Moore who said that, and he was absolutely right. Yeah.
He is right. And, if it doesn't get overturned and something, he has to be dropped down a league because he's such a poor referee. Because you can tell the ego on the man. I feel like he's like some kind of mad dictator or something,
Someone who looks like a boring old middle-aged dad.
Yeah.
He doesn't think he's some kind of superstar.
Do you know what he reminds me of? Have you been in a pub before and it's some bloke, it's like he sits there and he looks at you, he goes, "All right, mate, how you doing? I want a drink." He starts talking to you and he starts getting all like, he's kind of semi-aggro with you, but being kind at the same time. He kind of reminds me of that kind of bloke, you're just trying to get away from him and you can't. And everywhere you go, he's just staying like, "Oh, fuck."
Yellow bastard down the pub.
Yeah. And
just...
then it may cost us, because if the league back him, which I hope they don't,
which they probably will, because that's what they do. They rally around their man. But they don't care about the what's right or wrong either.
No, they don't. And we lose him for 3 games, and then the game on Tuesday, we've potentially got 3 players out. We've got Souček out, Lingard out. We might have Antonio out through injury.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good core of our players there, and that goes from our chances being pretty good to being pretty. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to say we won't win it, but it doesn't tend to look good, does it? And that would cost us from a nothing decision. It could cost us. And who's the next 3 games, Jim? Do you know? I usually know, but I don't actually know.
No, but if you keep talking, I'll have a look on my phone.
Yeah, so that could cost us a central midfield for the next 3 games of.
Yeah, I mean the core of our central midfield. Yeah, we've got Man United in the cup, then Sheffield United in the league, then Tottenham.
Yeah, exactly, a Tottenham game, 2 home games back to back as well. After the league,
I'm just so angry. Like, so I think it was Brandy pointed out in the chat, but it always seems to be something with us with Mike Dean. There always seems to be something that they should keep stats on this stuff and have a look to see if a certain referee consistently gives decisions against a certain team, because I swear, like, we get the wrong. Maybe every football fan looks at Mike Dean like this, and maybe he's just an overall. But it feels like we get a rough deal with him on a regular basis.
Get a rough deal with him. I think we look back at statistics. I think you definitely would see something. You'd see a pattern there. You know what I mean? I'd be very surprised if you didn't. And I'm
trying to hold in the rage because I'm so angry.
Well, it kind of. Do you know what? He had the right to look at it. He had the right to go to VR, look at it, assess the situation, and kind of go. Yeah, if that was me, I looked at it, I'd be no fucking way. It took me 2 seconds. You know what I mean? Anyone, even if he's just the way he's sitting, he's like that. He's going, and someone's on the other end, kind of going, "Look at the fist." And I'm looking at the fist myself. When I said it, I'm thinking, "What fist?" Like, he does kind of make a semi-fist like that.
He closes his hand. He doesn't make a fist. That making a fist is putting in someone's face. It's not closing your hand.
Yeah.
I'm just.
Souček is the last kind of, and this is another thing. This where it proves they don't know their homework about players as well. You know what I mean? There's a lot of referees that know about players and know about how they are. Zaha gets booked.
Knows their temperament.
Stuff like, they should know he's like the last person in the world to do something like that in that team as well. And so they should be like, look, he's not that kind of person, and he's done it. But they don't. It's just.
I think the guy is going to be backed by.
I do as well.
The powers that be, because they care more about like the face of things. Sorry, I'm plugging my laptop in because the battery's running out. They care more about the being seen to be right than actually doing the right thing. And the worst thing is they want to be seen to be right and backing their man, but that just makes everyone believe it in them even less. Like, you have even less faith in the authorities when they can't come out and go, "Do you know what? That was actually that was wrong.
Yeah,
and hands up, and we're going to make that right."
You know what? I've seen a lot of red cards in my lifetime of watching football, and I think that was one of the poorest. And I almost generally, I said on chat, we're going to send him off here because I just see his fucking little beady eyes looking, he's listening and looking around and all that, and I just thought he's
shrimp eyes.
Yeah, he's thought to himself, this game's been boring. Let's liven it up a bit with a bit of a disco here at the end. And he's sent him off. People bloody raging, all going red like disco balls. And he's getting angry, And
in his head, he's wearing a sparkly sequin jacket, and he's got a full head of hair, and he's the star of the show.
Yeah, do you know what? If I was a player, and I was at the end of my career, and that happened, I don't know how I'd retain myself from not kicking him in the head. I'm really scared that he's like, you know what he looks like as well? Do you know the dude from Futurama, the alien dude, the green alien dude?
The green, Kif.
Yeah. He looks like him. I hope he watches this.
You know what that Kif looks like? I'm gonna have to bleep this as well. Do you know what that Kif looks like? Do you remember from Waffle?
thought it was a stunt double.
It's that kind of big shiny bald head, those big bulging eyes, and then kind of if you see him from the rib cage up, you think he's skinny, but then like if he steps away from behind a table, you realise there's this big pot belly underneath.
The kind of head kind of bulbos up. Yeah, it's like
like here, like two pool balls. Right, we've gone totally off topic now. But yeah, I'm just furious. I know people talk about football being a business, but football is a sport, and if you can't bring the sportsmanship into sport, then you've just kind of ripped the soul of the game out.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, and you can, and if you can't tell a blatant, you know what? I don't even think it was a yellow card either. I wouldn't give nothing for it either. So
I would have given Mitrovic a card for
diving around.
Yeah. Simulation.
Yeah, for someone who's so big and tough to go down that easy all the time, it just makes me laugh.
Mate, when I was a teenager, my brother had one of those cabin beds, but actually it wasn't like a cabin bed. It's like it was a bunk bed on top, and the bottom half was a sofa that pulled out into a double bed. And it had this big, like, cast iron, massive frame. So it was about this thick at the side, the thickness of a normal bed. It was double thickness at the bottom because it had to be this kind of sofa thing, right? And I remember what you like when you're a teenager and you kind of end up swapping bedrooms. We were swapping bedrooms, and I was putting this bed back together, and the two end pieces, I had one propped up against the wall and the other one kind of stood when I was holding onto it, and I clipped in the joining bar.
Yeah.
And I've let go of it and it's balanced. I'm like, okay. And I've gone over to clip the other end in, and it's come toppling down and smashed me in the head, like proper smashed me, to the point where I was terrified. I thought, shit, what damage? In a split second, I was like, what damage have I done to myself? Soon realised I was fine. But even in that scenario, I wasn't rolling about on the floor. I wasn't grabbing myself. I was straight up on my feet, like, oh fuck, what the fuck happened there? So there's loads of swearing in this. Apologies to everyone. That happened, and that was my reaction, right? Yeah. This bloke gets brushed by an elbow and he's rolling around the floor and grabbing his face. I'm sorry, this has to stop. They have to get this out of football because it's not about, I know they're trying to use it to get a competitive advantage, and Grealish obviously is the worst. But you shouldn't be putting the name of your competitor and their reputation into question because you want to get an unfair advantage. It just needs to stop. I'm sick of it.
Yeah, I hate things like that, It's the game's come a long way since the 80s when people used to literally go up and break each other's noses just because they're pissed off for the day, like Vinnie Jones and stuff like that. You barely see anything like that anymore, apart from, what happened with, the wall striker and stuff. So we've come a long way. So why do things like that?
And there were honest players as well. Souček, remember, was it the last game against Villa where it was blatantly a penalty? If he'd gone down, he would have got a penalty, but he struggled to stay on his feet instead because, to the point you were just making, he's not that kind of player.
No, he's absolutely, and it's, and the thing is that now, that goes against him now. So he's going to miss out on a cup game with Man United away, which he'd probably love to have played. He's going to miss out on another clash with Tottenham as well at home, which we could hopefully get a win over. It hasn't put us into good strides, has it really at the moment for the next 3 games? It's everything was going quite well in the Villa game. Now we're kind of like we're sitting there thinking, God, 3 players out of Man United on Tuesday, which is only 3 days away, isn't it?
I suppose the good thing is, as West Ham fans, we're used to dealing with misery. So
well, I've had quite a lot of hope this season. It's made my life a bit happier.
I mean, it's been just the tonic for lockdown, hasn't it?
Yeah,
being able to actually enjoy the football. Anyway, so aside from that misery, next week it's the first meeting of the new Independent Supporters Committee with West Ham. So the first one of all the groups that have got together to.
So it's going to be virtual, by the way.
Yeah, it's all going to be on Zoom or Teams or whatever. I can't remember.
It's going to be like that parish. It's going to be like that parish interview. Is someone going to come in and kick everyone out?
What's her name? Jackie something or other. Jackie Weaver. Jackie Weaver.
But everyone's calling her Judge Dredd, isn't they? I am the law.
I am the law. Actually, I'm chairing the meeting, so
Yeah.
I will be the Jackie Weaver. I will have the power.
You look
Just
like
call
Jackie
me,
Weaver.
just call me Miss Weaver. Didn't she say at one point you could call me Britney Spears?
It's such a fun. It's really just. I've watched it about 100 times now. It just makes me laugh.
Oh, I still need to watch it, but I've seen all the memes. But yeah, I'm going to be Jackie Weaver, and yeah, it's the first one. So obviously we used to have the old OSB, and then before that the old SAB. But unlike those two, this one is actually formed by the fans. So this is our meeting. We are
Yeah.
inviting the club to our meeting, and
Does it
we've
have an
set the
agenda
agenda.
stuff?
Yeah, we've set an agenda for it. It's all going to be. I'm not going to talk about the specifics on this,
Yeah.
but everything's going to be public. So the agenda
Yeah.
will be public, the minutes will be public, everything's going to be public. We'll be putting up our memorandum of understanding with the club tomorrow. I think
Yeah.
there's going to be some FAQs on there as well. But it's all going to be independently hosted by us on I don't know, Google Drive or whatever.
Can you say who's going to be there from the club?
Well, I can't say specifically who because I don't know yet. But what we would expect to have is, I assume Karen Brady will be there.
Yeah.
I would think Tara Warren will be there.
Yeah.
But we've got some questions around ticketing. So I think Nicola Key will be there. We've got some ops stuff. So Ben Campbell and Ben Illingworth. So I think it's a lot of the people used to go to the old meetings. But the difference with these ones is the last one, I think there's something like 20 fans there.
Yeah.
And then probably 20 people from the club.
Yeah.
And it was too much. And there was too much stuff where the club was presenting things to us. And we were just kind of sat there listening for ages. And then we'd get to ask questions. This time round, there's 8 of us.
Yeah.
And there's probably going to be a similar number from the club. We're setting the agenda. So it's not going to be the club going, oh, these are the things that we think you want to know. We'll be like, these are the things that we would like to know.
Yeah.
So yeah, watch this space. I think it's going to be unusual.
Good.
I think it will be, but it's going to be something we're going to have to grow into, I think, because it's so new. And I think as well, there's probably a lot of water under the bridge with some groups and the club. So I think there's going to be some relationship building to happen there. But I'm positive about it. I like the fact that we're going and saying this is what we care about. Sorry, mate.
Will it be more about the kind of the ground, the tickets, or will it be about
literally so? I mean, I'm not going to go into too much specifics, but there'll be things like how the club doing with the renewals this season. So anyone who's not got anyone who's got a season ticket either gets gets a refund on a game by game basis, or it goes into club cash, which you just basically will pay off next season's season ticket. So it'd be like how quickly are they making those refunds? How's the renewals process going to work for next season? Like we don't know when the season's going to when it's going to start. We don't know when people will be back, what numbers will be back in, how's all that going to work. Things like what else have we got on there? Like the club recently did a fan survey. So what's the results of that, and what are the findings, and how can we start to improve things? I think a lot of the time previously, people didn't understand what we were talking to the club about, and the agenda was set by them. Whereas this time we can openly say, right, you tell us what you want us to take to the club, and we'll put it down and we'll take it forward.
I would love to ask them a question. My one's a simple kind of question. I just like
what is it?
I just want to know if they can ever televise the youth games, or do more of a roundup about players, and do some more stuff to do youth players, or even a little bios and things. We get little interviews once in a while, but I'd like to see more of the youth, the under 23s, and
the good thing about this forum is that one of the things that we've said is that because we're collating the agenda on our side, we're going to go through it and go, right, which things need to come to this forum, i.e. which things need someone like Karen Brady or Tara, whoever, to make a decision, and which things are just like day-to-day things that will just go directly to the club, like the team who works at the club. So some things you'll go, well, I can just go and ask support services about this because I don't need to ask Karen Brady about this particular thing because it's a normal question.
Well, if we're going to ask them, then we'll come back to you.
there's some things where you're like, well, no, we need the people in charge to answer. But yeah, I can ask about the youth team stuff anyway.
I think because it's funny, because if you look at, I've got Man Utd TV for free, and they put their youth games on there. They do, and sometimes I always get to watch the West Ham ones. They play against Man United, and me being me and being the kind of the absolute football thing that I am. I watch youth games. I'm that kind of person that would log in and watch a Leighton Orient youth game or something. And I'd probably watch all the, I know it's been a difficult season with COVID for the youth team and COVID outbreak and stuff, but I'd like to see, like, sometimes these players pop up and I'm just like, who is this player? It'd be nice to see what's happening with them and, how they get instructed, how it's all structurally going, and you form an opinion of them and stuff like that. It'd just be kind of nice to see what else is happening in the club, from a roots kind of perspective of things.
Well, look, anything that you want to ask the club, and this is for anyone watching, right? If there's anything you want to ask the club about, and you're a member of Pride of Irons, BAME, Hammers, disabled supporters, Hammers United, WESA. I'm going to have to go through them all now, aren't I? So I don't miss anyone off. Any old Irons. Who have I not done? West Ham Supporters Club. And did I already say disabled supporters?
Yes.
I think that's all. Oh, shit. So I'm missing one off. Disabled supporters again. Bondholders. That's the other one. Bondholders.
Yeah.
So if you're a member of any of those groups, then you can go directly to your group and say, hello, Mr. Hammers United or Mr. Pride of Irons or whatever, I would like you to ask the club this. But even if you're not, you can approach us, you can approach the club directly.
That's good.
This is the thing. I think the whole point is to get people, fans in the club, talking together more. Because I think all too often, actually, sometimes fan groups can end up, if you remember a fan group, you end up almost becoming like going to them by default. Yeah. So people might come to me and go, Jim, can you ask the club this? When 9 times out of 10, I'll say, oh no, this is like the contact for support services. You can just go to them directly and they'll help you. And I think it's about trying to improve that communication so people know that I can literally just email this, help out or whatever, and someone will respond to me.
Yeah.
Well, and if there's a problem they can't fix, then come to us and we'll try and, like talking about the straightening off of the stands, or if you want to talk about, having the appropriate stuff done for the stones, like the memorial stones and things like that. If you have concerns, then we can take them forward for you.
I think the thing with my question as well is I kind of know the answer already. I know it's not going to be cost effective at the moment because of COVID. So I reckon everybody would go, yeah, we will do it, but not now. And I'll be like, okay. You kind of know I kind of know the answer, but it's always been a real pet peeve of mine. It has been, of like just. I feel like we just need to have a little bit more than just the first team. We get to see watch a lot of the women's nowadays. I'd like to see some of the youth players that make get a little face in themselves. So I think sometimes it would help. It would just give them a bit of confidence as well to play kind of well, and be just nice to see profiles who's coming up. I just think that'd be really cool, if I'm honest. As a big fan of Football Manager myself.
We can always ask. Doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah.
So that's all happening. The first one next week, and then
when's that?
After that, it's going to be on Wednesday, day after the
football on
game.
Tuesday. When they say we win on Tuesday, then we can have everyone will be in good spirits then.
I hope so. But the thing is that these meetings aren't the be all and end all, because what I expect will happen is a 2-hour meeting. Out of that 2-hour meeting, we'll then have a ton of things that we're going to have to take away and work on. So you can't just say, what's your strategy for season tickets? We want to be involved. And then that's it, right? After that meeting, you're then going to have smaller meetings with the ticketing department, with whoever, getting feedback from fans and bringing it and saying, look, this is what the fans are saying. And one of the things I've put forward is about season ticket renewals. I've said anyone who didn't renew for 2021, for the 2021 season, given that nobody's been to games, are they going to have the opportunity to renew?
I think they should do. I hope they can, because it's been a really testing year for people. It'd be a nice gesture, I think.
Yeah, if someone's had a season ticket for years and years and years, and then they couldn't afford it this year, so they gave it up, but nobody went to games anyway.
Yeah.
Would you not give them the chance to keep that season ticket?
I personally would, but then who am I?
And this is the thing, right? It's all about opinion. Some people might be like, well, no, they gave it up, and you're entitled to your opinion.
It depends on the person's situation, doesn't it? Because this year there's a lot of people. We've been lucky; we've kept our jobs and stuff like that. There's a lot of people have lost their jobs, and definitely. It's not digging the government and nothing like that, but it ain't like they've been getting rolling in money since they've lost their jobs and all that stuff from the government. So things are tight for a lot of people. So they should have that kind of opportunity to kind of like go, I've got my job back and I've got a new job. I should be able to go back and do the thing I love on the weekend and watch footy, watch West Ham. And I hope they do.
I mean,
or even a way of supporting them to actually get them back in, and there we do. They do pay monthly thing, don't they? So
they do.
Yeah.
And the club do a finance option. But one thing I would say to anyone watching this, if you wanted to do a finance option on the season ticket, don't go through the club's finance, because it's not the club's anyway, but it's the company they use, because you'll get charged interest. It's much easier if you do a Martin Lewis. Pay for it on a credit card, get another credit card with an interest-free balance transfer, take it over, and then you pay it off interest-free.
Makes sense.
That's what I would do, because I think the last time I looked into it, the APR on those loans was quite high. Whereas season ticket, credit card, transfer, 0% sorted, didn't you?
If it's like a good ticket and you're paying like 800 quid, you're just paying 100 or under 100 a month, you'll pay it off under a year, wouldn't you? So you usually get a year to pay them off. So
exactly. Yeah. And that's a year paying exactly how much you paid for it, rather than what you paid for it plus amortizing interest, which all adds up.
It does.
Sorry for the really boring finance segment there, but
let's talk about Excel next.
I actually made someone an Excel spreadsheet the other day, someone who's a dog walker, and they wanted a spreadsheet so they could check, like they could put in it which dogs don't get along. And then when they're doing their schedules, they can go, right, if I pick these dogs, basically what I ended up doing was I dropped down.
The columns like dog, enemy.
No. The column, so there's like six columns, and then you drop down the first name, and it goes green. And then if you pick a dog that one doesn't get on with, it goes red. So then you pick another one until it goes green, and then you do the next one. And it checks them all and makes sure they all get along. Sorry, again, this is nothing to do with West Ham, but there you go. This is
then all the dogs hate each other, and she's like, bah.
Yeah, I should have put some kind of like glitch in there just for fun to mess it up every now and then. But that's two insights into what I get up to outside of work and West Ham.
Excel spreadsheets for people who doesn't know.
Finance and spreadsheets. Oh, anyway, right before we wrap up, Rob, anything to say?
Yes, I hope we play very well on Tuesday and we go on to win the cup, because it would just be a lovely, really lovely thing to kind of go and just not even going to the final again. It'd be really disappointing if we get into the final. No fans can go, wouldn't it? You think about it, you get into the final.
I was going to say the final was after the end of the season, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, like, if we got to the final, I know it's a massive if, but if we did, then that would kind of extend the fun a little bit longer.
Yeah, I just think once in a while it's the underdog's turn to have a bit of play, and I just really hope it's us this season. I know there'd be a lot of other people, a lot of clubs singing now bollocks, you're not having the glory, but even if I'd be really happy if we finished like top 7, or if we I even saying top 7 makes me feel a bit weird, because I want to be high in the top 7 now.
Yeah.
But even getting to the semi-finals of the cup, I'd be just happy as Larry. And it's not, you think about it, I'm saying how happy I'd be just getting to the semi-finals of the cup, not the final.
It's all about expectations, mate, and yours have been exceeded this season. So
absolutely,
long may it continue.
And the thing is, though, it could have been. I personally think it could have been better as well. A bit better if we'd have got a few extra players in, but. I don't want to keep going on about it. If it does come back to bite me and come back to bite us in the ass, I definitely have a question for that group.
Excellent. Right. So with that in mind, obviously, if you could, subscribe and follow and all the rest of it, you can find
link down there.
Link down there. Link down
My
there.
genitals are the link.
And you can follow Rob on Twitter under xzombish and on Instagram under justzombish, I think it is.
I just talk about films constantly.
Just talk about films and really peculiar tweets. Rob has a very interesting sense of humour. My husband said he saw one of his tweets the other day where I think you'd retweeted there was some videos from the surface of Mars, and you went, "It just looks like a shit beach, mate."
Yeah.
So follow Rob for all that kind of content. I'm at Beef and Teeth. And if you wouldn't mind liking and subscribing, that'd be fantastic. But this has been Pride of Irons YouTube /podcast, and we'll catch you next time. Come on, Ward.
Fuck Mike Dean.